So we'll start with our topic, that is GORD or GERD. That is all. This is gastroesophageal reflex disease. Okay. कुछ लोग इसोफेगस को ओ से बोलते हैं, कुछ इसोफेगस को ई से बोलते हैं, तो दोनों वन एंड द सेम चीज है, गैस्ट्रोइसोफेजियल रिफ्लेक्स डिजीज. Now this GERD or GORD, it is a pathological reflex from the stomach into the lower esophagus. क्या है वो? It is a pathological reflex from the stomach into the lower esophagus. You can see this is the stomach and this is the esophagus. What is happening? The contents of the stomach, they are reflexing into the esophagus. This GERD, it is of two types. Disease with symptoms but without esophagitis. There are symptoms of the disease but there is no damage to the esophagus. यहाँ पे esophagus का inflammation नहीं हुआ है, esophagus को कुछ भी damage नहीं हुआ है. So that is the first one, that is disease with symptoms but without esophagitis. The second is disease with esophagitis. Symptoms भी है, साथ में यहाँ पे esophagus को damage भी हुआ है. So that is the second type, disease with esophagitis. Now what are the anatomical factors for gastroesophageal reflex disease? The first factor is obesity. Because of obesity, there will be pressure on the stomach and the contents will reflex into the esophagus. Second is altered length of intra-abdominal esophagus. If the esophagus is of short length, so automatically the stomach is pulled up into the thorax and the contents will reflux into the esophagus. Altered phrenoesophageal ligament. This is the ligament. If there is shortening of the ligament, then that is also a problem. Altered obliquity of esophageal gastric junction. When the esophagus joins with the stomach, there is an angle formed which is oblique. But if there is alteration in this angle, जहाँ पे esophagus stomach को join होता है, वो थोड़ा सा oblique रहता है, so that contents will not flow into the esophagus. पर अगर ये angle change हो गया है, तो contents stomach में से esophagus में चले जाएंगे. An alteration in the normal rosety of esophageal gastric junction, जो उसका mucosa का arrangement रहता है, अगर वो arrangement change होगा, it is usually in a circular form, or you can say rosety means जो the garland which is coming in a circle, तो वो जो फूलों का garland रहता है, that arrangement is called as rosety. तो उस टाइप का arrangement रहता है, and if there is change in that arrangement, then that is also one of the anatomical factors. Now coming on to physiological factors. In physiological factors, reduce esophageal clearance mechanism. अगर esophagus के contents जो stomach में आ रहे हैं, अगर ये process normal चल रहा है, then there is no problem. But if there is some change in this normal mechanism, then that can lead to reflux. Delayed gastric emptying due to diabetes. Stomach के contents को और आगे जाना है, but in case of diabetic patients or those who are on medications, there is delay in the emptying of contents of stomach, and that can also lead to reflux. Increase gastric distension. Obviously, अगर distension बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, तो because of fullness, because of distension, contents वापस reflux होने वाले हैं. And gastric acid hypersecretion. If there is hypersecretion, ज़्यादा secretion हो रहा है, तो but natural that will again get refluxed. So these are anatomical as well as physiological factors. Other factors which are very important in gastroesophageal reflux disease: alcohol, smoking, stress, and lifestyle. The modern lifestyle, the modern diet of the patient, सारा junk food खा रहे हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा stress ले रहे हैं. So all these factors will again lead to gastroesophageal reflux disease. So these are the factors which are leading to GERD. Then clinical features or how the patient will present with GERD. Dyspepsia with fatty food. बहुत ज्यादा अगर fatty oily खाया तो there will be dyspepsia. Epigastric pain with heartburns. Heartburns, you know, it is retrosternal burning. Odynophagia, that is painful swallowing. Initially painful swallowing रहेगा, बाद में जाके dysphagia होता है. Initially dysphagia नहीं रहता है. Dysphagia comes later on when the complications begin. Then regurgitation. Patient always complains that after eating food comes into the esophagus and hematemesis. Inflammation start हो जाएगा, so there will be minute bleeding in the esophagus and patient can vomit which is containing blood. So actually the triad of features which you get in GERD are heartburn, dysphagia and regurgitation. These are the three important features which you get in GERD. Then complications of GERD. Reflux esophagitis means there is disease of the esophagus that is called as reflux esophagitis, inflammation of esophagus, which we'll see later on. Then sliding hiatus hernia. This is again an important topic we'll discuss later on. Stricture lower end of esophagus because of repeated irritation, inflammation, which is followed by fibrosis, and that leads to stricture lower end of esophagus. Then esophageal shortening because of repeated inflammation, the longitudinal muscles will go into spasm and that will lead to shortening of the esophagus. Then Barrett's esophagus. This is actually a pre-malignant condition because of repeated inflammation. The columnar epithelium of the esophagus change into squamous epithelium. This again we'll discuss in detail in carcinoma of esophagus. And the last complication, that is carcinoma of esophagus. Because if this Barrett's esophagitis persists, that gets converted into carcinoma. So these are the complications of GERD. Then treatment of uncomplicated GORD or GERD. We are taking initially treatment of uncomplicated. Then when we'll see reflux esophagitis, that will be added in that, वो complication के साथ है. So general measures. Control of obesity. This is very important कि आप obesity को control करो. Then after control of obesity, stop smoking because smoking is also one of the factors. No to alcohol. Totally stop taking or consuming alcohol. Avoid tea and coffee. These are stimulants. And propped up position. Propped up position means you keep one or two pillows and then you can sleep. Your upper end of the body should be much higher than the lower limbs. So that is called as propped up position. आप 2 पिलो या 3 पिलो लगा के सपोर्ट के साथ बैठ सकते हो. Immediately after eating you should not sleep. That is very important. So propped up position is important. Then drugs. They use antacids, various groups of drugs, and even after following these measures, if the patient is not relieved, then you go for surgery, that is called as total Nissan's or partial fundoplication, and second is laparoscopic fundoplication. Will not go into details of surgery. You just write down surgery or just names of the surgery, that is sufficient. So this is treatment of uncomplicated GORD. Then the important topic, which is one of the complications, you can say as one of the complications of GORD, that is reflux esophagitis. This reflux esophagitis, it is mucosal injury that occurs secondary to retrograde reflux of gastric contents into the esophagus. Here you can see that the gastric contents are going up into the esophagus. Now this reflux esophagitis, it is of two types or classified into two types, acute and chronic reflux esophagitis. Acute esophagitis is usually following burns, scars or infection, or because of a stomach tube, trauma caused by a stomach tube. When you insert a Ryle's tube, if this Ryle's tube is kept for a longer time, so that can irritate and lead to reflux esophagitis. Then causes of chronic reflux esophagitis is reflux because of sliding hiatus hernia, herniation of stomach into the thoracic cavity, that is hiatus hernia. We'll discuss in detail later on. So these are two types of reflux esophagitis, acute and chronic. You just remember this picture. This is the lower esophageal sphincter. Coming on to pathology of esophagitis. The lower end of esophagus is affected usually in this reflux esophagitis. There is loss of epithelium due to injury, and this lost epithelium is replaced by bleeding granulation tissue. Because of inflammation, there is hyperactivity of the vagus, and so the longitudinal muscles, they contract. Okay, so because of inflammation, there is contraction of the longitudinal muscle. There is inflammation of esophagus, vagal hyperactivity, and there is spasm of the longitudinal muscles. Because of spasm of these longitudinal muscles, they will draw the cardiac end of the stomach into the esophagus. As soon as the muscle goes into spasm, the cardiac end of the esophagus is pulled into the thoracic part. Now, because of this, there is increased acid regurgitation. Because of upward displacement of cardia, increased acid regurgitation, and because of this acid regurgitation, again there is esophagitis. So this is a vicious cycle. Esophagitis leading to longitudinal muscle spasm, that is leading to upward displacement of cardia, again increased acid regurgitation, and again esophagitis. So this is a vicious cycle which is continuing in case of reflux esophagitis. Then this is the classification of reflux, classification of reflux esophagitis, grade A, B, C and D. Classification given by Los Angeles. So in this grade 1, one or more mucosal break no longer than 5 millimeter that does not extend between the tops of two mucosal folds. So there is a break which is not bigger than 5 millimeter and it does not extend between the tops of two mucosal folds. In grade B, one or more mucosal break more than 5 millimeter. This is also not extending much between the mucosal folds. In grade C, there is one or more mucosal break that is continuous between the tops of two mucosal folds, but it involves less than 75% of the circumference. So less than 75% of the circumference is involved, that is grade C. And if it is at least 75 or more of the circumference, then that is grade D. So you have to just remember this classification, that is Los Angeles classification, grade A, B and C, and the last one, that is D. So grade A, B, C and D. Now coming on to clinical presentation of reflux esophagitis. So the first presentation is pain. This pain is in the retrosternal area. It is burning type of pain, and this is often referred to the shoulder, arm and neck. This is because of sympathetic innervation, same nerve supply, and because of this pain radiates to the shoulder, arm and neck. This pain usually confuses us with the pain of angina. In angina also you get pain which is in the retrosternal region, pain in the retrosternal region, and this pain is radiating to the tip of the shoulder. Then second is heartburn. There is burning in the retrosternal area. Along with this, there is regurgitation of bitter acid, dysphagia. Patient complains that food sticks in the lower esophagus, and later on this dysphagia is constant and is progressive, leading to stenosis. And later on patient presents with anemia also, because there is slight bleeding, and this because of this bleeding patient can present with anemia. So these are the features: pain and burning in the retrosternal area, heartburn, dysphagia and anemia. Then investigations. Barium meal. If you go for a barium meal, it will reveal the cause, that is sliding hiatus hernia. Then esophagoscopy. This is an investigation in which a fiber-optic scope is passed into the esophagus, and you can see that the mucous membrane of esophagus is velvety, red and bleeding. I have shown a picture of the esophagoscopy. This is the esophageal opening. You can go deep inside this. You can see the redness of the mucous membrane. And if you go for a stool examination, you will find occult blood in the stool. Occult blood means hidden blood, microscopic blood in the stool. Now what will be the treatment? You have to find the cause and treat the cause. Whatever is the cause of reflux esophagitis, you have to find that cause and treat the cause. So you find the cause and you treat the cause. So that's all about reflux